Now, Maresca has taken over at Manchester City, but it was a horrendous showing in his first sort of pre-official game in charge of the club. They got humbled by the Gunners. Po. 3 times they got beaten. Yes, in that game, ending 3-0, meaning that the Gunners get to win the Community Shield and Manchester City walk away empty-handed. A lot of things happened in that particular game that ended up here with this photo. Yes, the FA Community Shield went to the team Arsenal inside Cardiff. Tactically, there was so much to do that Maresca actually got wrong. Let's start off from number 1. Why do you play Kushanov in a right-back position? Because it was as if from the very first whistle, the Arsenal players were mandated to actually attack the right-hand side of the defense of Manchester City. Wrong profiling of Kushanov to actually get him to play in that position. It's quite fair to have an understanding that you may have wanted to invert, Kelly in there and then allow there to be 3 centre-backs. But Kushanov outright, he kept on tagging constantly to Luis Diaz, leaving this gaping hole, and constantly there was bombardment and overloading on the side. Let's build to quickly the first goal. The first goal came in under 1 minute in this particular game, and it was quite simple. Ball in midfield, gets to Miles Lewis Skelly, and Skelly just needs to thread that ball through and in between Kushanov, who is in literally no man's land because he is not just seeing Calafiori. He is not even seeing Zolis. He's just in no man's land. Ball gets threaded through. Calafiori gets onto that ball, and we know how that ball finished up in the back of the goalpost. Kushanov should have read the movement, but Kushanov is not a right back. First mistake of Maresca. But then again, as if that was not going to be enough, it should have been corrected because that was the gaping hole. It then rendered Antoine Semenyo going for it also quite toothless on the day. However, we'll get into that much more later. But then again, you go on to the second goal and similar thing again happened. Target Kushanov, and then you get your goal. Again, Zolis in the middle of this action. Now, look at this sequence. This is the one that beats my mind. The rest defense of Manchester City for this game was treacherous, questionable, and really dreadful. It was literally non-available. This sequence you see here is not a dead ball situation. This was poetry in motion. The game was moving. However, for some strange reason, City decided to use the edge of the penalty box as a line, not to go beyond it and push everybody into the space. However, they were also very slow on the day. So what happens? You give Odegaard the opportunity to pick that pass. So Odegaard looks up, everybody is in line. He does what? Picks that pass. And Zolis, fantastic play from him on the day. He had a hand in all 3 goals. One of them included his movement, but 2 direct assists on the day. And the man Zolis is really prime for the EPL. Trust me, believe me on this. You can clip this and post it wherever you want. Zolis is going to be the next biggest thing on that left-hand side for Arsenal. Even way bigger than Trossard. Bet you on that. But now, look at the way Zolis runs. Again, Kushanov is in no man's land. Kushanov can't see Havertz, but he's not going to go to Havertz. Kushanov can't see Zolis at all. He can't see Zolis, he can't find him, and therefore what does Zolis do? Zolis moves into this particular position, and then the ball gets pinged from Odegaard. Zolis actually heads it down, and it is right into the path of Havertz. Havertz gets to score a goal. Fantastic goal, fantastic all-round goal from Arsenal. And at this point in time, 27 minutes gone, and then Manchester City were clutching straws at this moment. It was not all gloomy for the citizens. At a point in time, we tried to actually see what the new coach Maresca was trying to do. He was trying to play his own version of Maresca ball with the City squad, where he had 3 defenders, and then he pushed his lateral, one of his laterals, that's Nico O'Reilly here, into this particular space, had Doku on this side. So O'Reilly was now inverting into midfield, trying to attack the channel. But that, we just saw those movements briefly and could not actually see how impactful that was. For Anderson, Anderson was reduced to actually winning balls in the air. His winning rate in the air was better than his ground duel rates throughout the game. He kept on pinging balls also into the penalty box. So we saw this kind of shape where he was really going to invert one of the defenders to play in midfield in the game. So that is showing us what Maresca wants to do with Man City. However, this was not the game to do it, because from the get-go, the citizens were totally lost and in no man's land. However, the game again went on and got into the second half. Still, Kushanov was left alone. Now, from this game, we've learned that do not leave Kushanov in a 2v1 situation, because he would always be lost and not know exactly what to do. Now, again, overload on this side. Diaz gets drawn out, leaving this Kai Havertz here. However, watch the movement of Kai Havertz. Havertz is being watched by Gvardiol. But then again, look at the path left down for Odegaard to trek into. So Zolis takes on Kushanov, Calafiori running through the channel, drawing away not only Diaz, but also the DM, who is supposed to have been closer to the action. That is the 116 million pound man. Yes, Anderson, he was in no man's land. And then also another attacker in no man's land. So this is literally all over the place as a result of just one movement here and the other there. So Zolis takes on his man, and what does he do? He just cuts that ball back beautifully and lands in the path of Odegaard, who actually makes Donnarumma lie down in green pastures before he plays that ball into the gaping side of the other net, leaving City highly formidable to a lot of things that happened on the day. Now, that then just drew us to where we are today in this particular situation. Where do City go on from here? This game could have been way better if City actually had Rodri. But with Rodri having moved on to Barcelona, they now have to move and settle that particular slot. They have been speaking to Alex Scott, but Bournemouth would only sell either Scott or Tyler Adams. Both are not going to be moving. Aside that, they want Enzo Fernandez. Does Enzo Fernandez solve the problems that they encountered in this game in midfield? No, I don't think he does. That is why chasing after Alex Scott or going for another form of a DM would work for Manchester City. Without that, they are really left open. City will come good. Maresca will come good. But this game came too early for them. But for Arsenal, this is the season for them. This is their season. And this could be the season that Arsenal set new records. This game, Arsenal really blew Manchester City out of the park even before Manchester City stepped foot on the pitch. Tactically, Arteta has proven through this game that he's way ahead of Maresca. Let's see how Maresca answers this particular call in their first encounter meeting in the EPL. But till then, we'll be giving you a very interesting analysis of Zolis, as everybody is calling for it. And everybody wants to know, what exactly does Christos Zolis bring to the Gunners team? We'll tell you more about that in the next episode of Tactical.